Hello everybody, good morning, welcome to the United Stand. I'm Mark Goldbridge, and I tell you what, I've just been down the shops. They're not even United fans, and I'm just walking around the shop, just doing that. I just can't stop doing that. It's just, we've all got that feeling this morning. Lots to talk about. Amorim sitting down his haters, De Ligt and Ahmad back, transfer stories, the big debrief on last night. It was all positive last night, but we probably should talk about some of the realisms from last night, of course, as well. We'll do that. How are you feeling? I just want to say what I said last night. I did stay up late. I did finish the red wine. And you're an amazing community. That's just what we have. And this is why I'm doing it again. Look, I literally just want to walk around going like that. You know, the missus made me a cup of coffee and I went like that. It's just one of them days where, you're just walking around fist in the air. It's great. Love it. And this is why we do it. But lots to get into. The latest on Turkey, the latest on a few ins and outs coming in from David Ornstein that came in yesterday. Europa League, look, we've got to get real. Honestly, we've had 1.1 million views on the watch along from last night, and it keeps going up. And I think it's because people are doing what I'm doing. You're watching the highlights, and then you're watching that last 15 minutes of the watch along and just living that despair to ecstasy because it's just so captivating. But I'll be honest, when I was watching the highlights back this morning and it went from 2-0 to 2-2 to 4-2, I was fuming again. You just get lost in it, and you've got to look at that. Hello everybody, today's clip is supported by Sleeper. Before we dive in, let me tell you a bit more about Sleeper. This app is making serious waves. It was the #1 downloaded sports app in the US during the NFL season, even beating heavyweights such as ESPN and Yahoo. Sleeper isn't just popular, it's because they truly deliver the best fantasy experience. You get deeper customization, more league options, and all the bells and whistles that make managing your fantasy team a blast. But that's not all. Sleeper is growing a fantastic community with several million people using it daily for their sports fix. Sleeper has a broad appeal and is genuinely built for everyone. So, if you're looking to up your fantasy game, make sure to check out Sleeper by clicking the link in the video description. Trust me, you won't regret it. Orange says, are you buying the hoodie now? I think a few people are getting lost on the hoodie. I said, I'll buy Amorim's hoodie if we sign Osman. But John said, and John needs a big shout out here, John said the hoodie I was wearing on Wednesday night that said boss on it, he said, wear it tomorrow, a Superstitions, we need it to win. I wore it and we won. And also, I think for the semi-finals, it's that hoodie that says boss and a bottle of good red wine. It's gonna. I've just got to keep it going now. Whatever your little routines are, keep them going as well, because last night was ridiculously special. Let's get into the news. Just as well. Seb, you'll know who Seb is, my lad. He's only 7. He went to bed at 2-0. This morning, I took him into the living room and I said, highlights, didn't let him see the score, made him club with his eyes and went, watch this. And his face he had no idea what was going to happen. At 4-2 down, he looked really sad. When Maguire scores that, his favourite player, that's what football's all about. And that's what I said last night. The positivity that we take from that is incredible. And I tell you what, it's funny because I think Amorim has silenced his haters because, and I think the thumbnail says never again. I would implore any United fan that's negative to stop listening to the negative outlets out there who suddenly last night are faking it, going, oh yeah, United. You were hammering out on Sunday. You didn't think the Manchester derby was very good. The system's the problem. All this. Well, I'm sorry. We've kept the receipts, ladies and gentlemen. You can't go from Amorim out to, oh yeah, United. What's that all about? Maybe learn the lesson of what everybody's been saying. This manager is swimming in the sewers. He's had one signing. He's been brought into an absolute wreck and he's fighting. And some of us want to fight with him. I don't understand how United fans can be so negative on Sunday, even muttering the words Amorim out, and then Thursday night they're trying to claim a madness. Come on. It's just pure ecstasy last night because we've been backing this manager. You must feel a fraud yourself to be saying hammer him out and then jumping on the bandwagon last night, talking about systems and stuff. Just get behind the bloody team, because that's why you do it. Because I tell you what, last night felt absolutely incredible to me because I backed this manager. At no point have I even questioned him. And that's pure ecstasy because we love the club. This negativity needs to stop. I don't really understand it. But look, there's a lot to unpack. I think that one thing that's probably been... I've watched it back a lot. You've watched it back a lot. There's a few things I just want to unpack in relation to... Look, there are a few players that need calling out. I agree. But one player I want to call out at the start is Mazraoui. I don't know why he went home at half-time. I don't know why Lindelof went home at half-time. Lindelof was coming on for Mazraoui. Now, that's quite scary. But then again, we did concede 4 goals with Mazraoui going off. So could it have been any worse with Lindelof? But something's gone on with Mazraoui and Lindelof. I don't know what it is. I can speculate what it is. And obviously thoughts are with them and their families. There's a lot of people saying, you know, is it burglaries while they're playing at a game? This is quite a common theme for footballers. We can't speculate because we haven't had the issue. We haven't had it. But I don't think it got spoken about last night a lot because everyone's just lost in the chaos. But we conceded no goals at half-time and we conceded 4 in an hour without Mazraoui. I think it messed up the whole defence. I think Maguire had a good game, Yoro had a good game, Delo had a good game, but I think Mazraoui going off hasn't been spoken about enough, and I think it absolutely just broke the rhythm of that back five. I mean, Luke Shaw had a bad game, obviously, and Dorgu had a bit of a dodgy game on that back post, but I think we massively missed Mazraoui, and I think it needs mentioning because we don't know what happened at half-time, but we conceded 4 goals without him. And it was chaos at the back. So I think Mazraoui, that needs mentioning 100%. I also think that, look, as we bake in the enormity of that incredible night, and, you know, the words of the Stone Roses song, I Am the Resurrection, this Good Friday, comes to mind. I am the resurrection and I am the life. I couldn't ever bring myself to hate you as I like. It's so true. Like, this is why we love Manchester United. And I think some people get lost in their agendas about players or managers. And ultimately, the purity is what your relationship is with Manchester United. The Glazers can't take that. Certain players can't take that. It's your relationship with Manchester United. And that, to me, is 100% pure in love. And that's what last night was all about. We're alive. I thought we was dead. I thought we were dead last night at 4-2, live in front of you, good people. I'm dismantling in front of you mentally, thinking, what happens for the next 2 months? What happens in the summer transfer window? What happens next season? What happens for the next 3 years? It's all flashing in front of you. That's like, for 10 minutes, I'm glimpsing into the oblivion that I'm convinced would have led to a horrific summer transfer window, would have led to a horrific next season, a horrific end to the season, and probably ultimately Amrim losing his job at some point in the next 18 months. Now, we haven't avoided that. We've just delayed it. Like, we were so close. And what I'm hoping we're going to get, and I think we're going to win the Europa League, and I've said that since January, and at times you sort of like, but I think that if this team cannot be inspired by that, from a Nana to Maguire, from Agate to Garnacho, from Bruno to Rasmus, if you can't wake up this morning and go, that is all that matters, then I don't know what else you can do. Like, hero to villain, villain to hero, whatever you want to call it. I mean, look, one of the goals that Lyon scored, I'm watching it back, and Maguire moves his head out of the way. If he'd have kept his head in the same place, he'd have headed it away and they wouldn't have scored. Then he goes and scores that goal. And in life, as a footballer, people aren't going to remember Harry Maguire in COVID moving Luke Shaw out the way to let Spurs score. They're going to remember Harry Maguire's goal against Lyon. And this is what we've been saying on this channel for years. Criticism is valid. But if you deliver, that's what you will be remembered for. And I think some of our players get so locked in on criticism. But Harry Maguire's going to be remembered for that goal. Unless he tops it with something else positive, he will be remembered in 10 years' time for that goal. He won't be remembered for the mistakes. And this is what the modern footballer needs to understand. The criticism from the fans is never permanent. It's because we want better. But if you deliver, you will be remembered for that. And he will be remembered for that. I'm getting goosebumps myself, but he will be remembered for that. So any United player that's waking up this morning, if they can't take this opportunity and win this Europa League, then we'll never do anything, because they've surely got to see that reaction and go, this is it. This is what it's all about. We've got to believe. We've got to work hard. But it rolls on. Like Athletic Bilbao will be difficult over 2 legs, and we're gonna probably be in this position again in 3 weeks' time, where some penalty shootout, or it's going to be, and then probably Spurs in the final, which, to be honest, I'm not thinking about the final because we've got to get past Athletic Club. But that final against Spurs, I don't want. I'd rather get Lazio. I don't want a Premier League final because it's like, oh God, it's just, the jeopardy in that game is incredible. And if you lose it to Spurs, who never win a trophy, oh my God. But I can't think about that. I've got to think about the next one. Goldbridge, that's the end of the clip. I'm sure you enjoyed it. In fact, I bet that's the best clip you've ever watched. So there's no reason not to subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon so you never miss a clip again. In fact, smash a like on the video, because we all know only legends like videos, and you are all legends. So please smash a like on the video, and we will see you again on the next one. Thank you very much for watching, as always.